to mount a unified opposition to President Trump. Americans' favorable views of the Democratic Party's brand are at a record low, just 29%. That's compared to 36% for Republicans. It is the lowest ever recorded for Democrats in CNN polling going back more than 30 years. As you can see, the party's numbers dropping a staggering 20 points in just 4 years. The CNN SRSR's poll also found 57% of Democrats and Democratic-leaning voters are more interested in seeing their party leaders stop the GOP agenda, compared to 42% who are more interested in cutting bipartisan deals. It is a big shift from where the party stood at the start of Trump's first term in 2017. Now, this survey was taken before this week's tumultuous battle over funding the government, which resulted in one of the ugliest intra-party Democratic disputes in years, and left many in the party lobbying furious attacks at Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer, who ultimately reversed course and let a GOP bill funding the government become law in order to avert a shutdown. Now a bitter round of finger-pointing is taking shape after Democrats failed to get a single concession from the GOP, despite having their first piece of leverage to fight back against Trump. Now the big question, where does a party in deepening turmoil and in open warfare go from here?
Okay, so just to continue on this for a minute, because I just saw this is really bad news for Democrats. 2030 reapportionment, there's a group called the American Redistricting Project, and in 5 years we will be redistricting. California is projected to lose 3 seats, New York 2, also going to lose a seat, Minnesota, Oregon, Rhode Island, Illinois, all blue states. Who's getting these? Texas, Florida, Idaho, and Utah. I mean, this looks like game over. You know, and the reason why people are voting with their feet is a lot of what your book is about.
Yeah,
taxes and regulation. I certainly have been screaming about it forever. I did 3 years with a sign here that said, how long is it going to take me to get my solar hooked up? 3 years. Talking about it on television in this state. You couldn't do it. This state has almost 400,000 regulations. I just put in a new roof because the fire, I thought, oh, let's get a roof that's not going to burn up. 2 inspections. Why are you inspecting my roof? It's my fucking roof. If it falls on me, that's my problem. And we're taxed more than any other state. People are leaving these kind of states for places where they're not, they feel the heavy breath of government on them. It's not that hard for Democrats to understand this, but they seem to be incapable of doing anything about it.
What's going on, everyone? So Bill Maher decided to pretty much cast the Democrats' grave at this point, at least for now anyway. This looks like game over. Bill Maher warns Democrats has not hit rock bottom yet. And as you saw from the intro, I showed you a clip of him kind of going over the fact that so many people are leaving blue states. This looks like game over. You're going to lose congressional seats. Sorry. And all the population is voting with their feet. And this is some of the, some people got criticized. I remember this happened in California when they saw a negative about amount of people leaving California. And many people saying, oh, you should stay here and fight. But this is a long-term strategy which has very political ramifications because the opposite's happening. What Democrats love to do, and this is one of the strategies that I point out a lot that the Democrats do to try to swing elections in their favor, is that they create all these sanctuary cities, all these sanctuary states to attract illegals into their country into their state because it increases their population numbers, which justifies them having more congressional seats in the House, this is why California has a disproportionate kind of influence over our politics, is because of all the amount of congressional seats that they have. And this is a good thing, right? But this guy, I forgot the guy that Bill Maher has, he's been calling the alarm bell saying, hey, yo, Democrats, you're going to lose if you keep putting on these regulations. And you saw Bill Maher, he personally complaining about this. And this is why I laugh about sometimes with progressives. As you saw from my first video that I did for the day, progressives will talk about how authoritarian Donald Trump is because he wants to cut down government. He wants to cut down federal funding. How are you calling someone an authoritarian, but they want to cut down the capabilities and the budget of the government? Make it make sense. You want to call Donald Trump an authoritarian, but you wanted us to elect Kamala Harris, who came from a state like California, where you hear Bill Maher complaining about the fact that he has to justify to the government why he wants to buy a new roof. progressives, y'all crack me up. Y'all call up is down and down is up. You call man woman, woman man. And this is the double speak that many people talk about with progressives. You critique things and you say they're authoritarian when in reality they're not authoritarian. They're just like, you make your own choices, but you're responsible for those choices. If you do something that gives you a bad outcome, the government's not responsible to bail you out. Progressives are. They haven't been making sense for a long time. And this is why they lost. Honestly. And this is an article I read. I think it's on the Daily Wire. I know a lot of people are very, iffy about them. But for the most part, their news thing is very good. The unlikely trio shaking up the Hollywood echo chamber. Bill Maher, Charlemagne, I forgot this other guy's name, but Michael Rappaport, I think his name is. These three dudes are trying to save the Democratic Party. And the Democrats were smart. They're listening. And it seems like Gavin Newsom is listening to Bill Maher. Check out this clip of Bill Maher talking with Andrew Swab. I forgot to say his last name. Sorry if I butcher it. And they're going to have they're going to talk about how they don't believe Elon has bad intentions and it's just fear-mongering from the left, that the left is getting mad because Bill Maher, allegedly by Kid Rock, is getting invited to speak with Trump in Mar-a-Lago. And they're literally just calling out the tactics of the left that has created their echo chambers. And the funny part is the left love to project the fact that, conservatives live in an echo chamber. But conservatives are the only people that's actively going out and trying to seek the other side to have discussions and debates. But, I digress. Let's take a look at these clips, and then I'll go back into the video where he's discussing this matter of blue states losing population. Let's take a look.
I'm a little bit more optimistic about the intentions of the administration. It doesn't mean it's going to work out, but I don't think that Musk is trying to get richer.
No,
I think
he's definitely not. I've always defended him on that. He does not care about money.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's got all the money. I think he thinks that this will help America.
I've been with him at times, and he did not have a house.
Yeah,
he was staying at a friend's house.
It doesn't matter.
He will sleep on the couch.
Yeah,
or sleep at the Tesla factory as he did to get that going. I think he brags about we work the weekends. Let's have pizza at 1 a.m. and keep working and then sleep here.
Yeah.
That's what he's an engineer. That's what turns him on.
And I respect that. I think it's important.
Kid Rock was here a couple of weeks ago and he said, I want you to meet Trump. He said, I'm going to take you to the White House. So now we're going to do that.
I think that's a good
there will be
conversation.
lots of people on the left who will be like, how dare you talk to this man? It's like, F you. I'm not playing this game that you mean girls play.
Yes.
Where oh, you know what? You can't sit at my lunch table because I'm just not talking to you. Not talking to you, you lost the election. Who the f do you think you have to talk to? It's one thing if you win it.
Yeah.
It's another thing if you lose it.
You got to start talking to people.
Have to talk to. And I see Gavin Newsom is doing this now. He's changed his tune. He's got a podcast, and the first guest was Charlie Kirk.
I thought that was. I thought that was brilliant.
He mentioned me. He said, I take my. I'm noticing what Bill does, talks to both sides, is left-leaning, but not afraid to criticize the people on his team. We got to get more of this going.
This
has to become the center. This has to become a real center. Right now, it's a few lonely islands that need to become a bigger fucking sandbar.
Yeah.
And stuff like this continues proving the point that Democrats are out of touch, and it's like they don't want to be in touch. It seems like Democrats want to be isolated from reality. That's what it seems like to me. We don't believe that American people actually rejected our policy positions, our propositions. No, it must be something else. This is denial. Let's hear how the liberals, at least the more common sensing thinking liberals, are taking this outcome. Let's continue.
And we're taxed more than any other state. People are leaving these kind of states for places where they're not, they feel the heavy breath of government on them. It's not that hard for Democrats to understand this, but they seem to be incapable of doing anything about it.
So we poll this. They're leaving on cost of living. That's all part of it. They're leaving because they can't afford homes. And it's a huge, not just political problem, those numbers you just gave. After 2030, if that holds, a Democrat could win every state Kamala Harris won, win Michigan, win Pennsylvania, and I'm just blanking on the third blue wall state, win Michigan, win Pennsylvania, and win Wisconsin, and lose the presidential election, right? The blue wall would no longer be enough for them to win.
And the funny part is, if you looked a few years back, Democrats, they saw like their population numbers gaining in California, New York, right, because of the illegal immigration, sanctuary cities, and all that stuff. They tried to like they're calling it out now, but Democrats wanted to create a similar scenario using illegal migrants to fluff up their population numbers. That's why the GOP tried to come out and say, hey, we should only count American citizens as part of the census because the census decides our congressional seats. Democrats universally, all of them voted no against that, claiming something else. But this is what I'm talking about when we say Democrats act in their own political interest, not in the interest of the American people. They want to maintain power and control, so they do things that swing the things in their favor. And this is how they do it with one of them, sanctuary cities. And now they find out that's not working because at the end of the day, the Americans are actually moving into other states because it's just better for them. And this is what I'm talking about. Republicans, just just be the better solution. Just be the better option. And it's going to be hard for them to justify, yeah, I'm getting killed over here in Gavin Newsom's California. They got wildfire. A lot of people are happy. Like a lot of rich people that left California a long time ago. I think Grant Cardone was like one of the biggest people I heard. He was the first one to start that. He tried to start this movement. Hey, y'all better leave California. He moved to Miami Beach. I remember that very vividly. Grant Cardone moving his business from California to Florida. I bet he's happy right now. It's the ability to see kind of down the line, like, yo, is this something that is going to work? Grant Cardone was complaining about the same thing Bill Maher was complaining about. The only difference is Grant Cardone actually did something about it. Bill Maher kept sitting there, because he's a Democrat. He's very tribal. I admit this. He's very tribal. He didn't want to call out Gavin Newsom until, hey, you're a little too extreme, but that's how you got to go in California because you're surrounded by left-wing loons. And I think this is what's incentivizing Bill Maher to really criticize his own side, is because he's seeing that, yo, we're isolating ourselves. I digress. Let's continue.
And you have to take
You
that.
mean
as
they
not
could
just
win those 3 states and still
and
lose?
lose the presidential. That's how bad it is, right?
Wow.
And that's because they are driving people out, working class families out of the states they govern because the cost of living is too high. And the cost of living is too high in part for regulatory reasons, in part for taxes. But the big problem is they just don't have enough of the things people need. Not enough homes, not enough energy, not a government capable of delivering. And they've been treating that as not a real problem. You were talking about your solar sign. California high-speed rail, it's a huge disaster, but nobody's ever done anything about it. If you tried to build it...
Show me the incentive, I'll show you the outcome. Have you voted out any Democrat? Have you ever tried voting Republican once in a while? No. And the fact that the California voters don't vote for... Like, Larry Elder tried to do this. Remember? Y'all recalled Gavin Newsom just to elect him again? Make that make sense. What was the point of starting it in the first place? And this is the kind of the things that baffled my mind. I'm like, wow. You recall a guy... All he did was say sweet nothings to you. Oh, I'm gonna invest $20 billion, and he still wins. He wins his reelection. Make it make sense, California. If you wanted something different, you would have picked something different. But no, y'all rather suffer with Democratic leadership than prosper under Republican leadership because that'll break your whole narrative, your whole concept of politics. And this is where I say, yo, a lot of California liberals, California Democrats, or whatever, cut their nose to spite their face. You rather suffer under Democratic leadership than prosper under a Republican one, all because of emotional reasons. You say you want something different, but at the end of the day, all Gavin Newsom saw is, oh, I won. Oh, all I need to do is say these things. I don't need to actually do these things. That's what he's trying to do in his podcast. Oh, all I got to do is talk like a moderate, but not act like a moderate. This is the superficiality. That's why I say, hey, Democrats, if you're smart, you would not put a California Democrat in national politics for a while because these people don't know how to actually talk to people in the middle. California is overwhelmingly dominated by liberals, leftists, progressives, left-wingers. They don't know how to message to people in the middle, truly in the middle. And Bill Maher's the closest thing to a centrist they have, and he's a lib. But in California, he's considered a centrist. And look at all these problems that's arising under your governance.
Again, it would go the exact same way.
High-speed rail?
Yeah, California's high-speed rail.
I think we first passed it in 2008. I think they just voted about something about it again. It's projected. Just give up. Just to build, I think, from Bakersfield to Merced. Who the hell wants to go from Bakersfield to Merced? And they couldn't do that.
I went out and toured this for the book. And the people building it were perfectly clear with me. Look, this doesn't work if we don't do LA to San Francisco. And they don't have the money to do LA to San Francisco. And they don't have the regulatory structure to do it. They have been clearing. They started clearing the rail track through environmental review. The whole point of high-speed rail is it's good for the environment.
Right.
They started clearing it through environmental review in 2012. By the end of 2024, when I was fact-checking the book, it was almost done. The reviews were almost done.
And this is where you wanted to spend billions of dollars into. Right? This is Kamala Harris's strategy. I want to spend $1 billion in affordable housing. Okay, how long it'll take you to make housing affordable? Decades? Maybe 2? Some of y'all will be dead before you see affordable housing. But guess what? Kamala Harris gets to brag about, I invested billions of dollars towards affordable housing. This is the crap that I'm talking about with Democrats. You want to look good, not actually do good. If you invest billions of dollars, but it takes you decades to even get the result, was it even worth going down that route in the first place? And what if you're not successful? I love bringing up this example, but the high-speed rail, wow. You passed the bill for 2008. Almost 20 years, you just started clearing out the debris to allow make it make sense. All this regulation slows down progress. And this is why I say Democrats are a party of control freaks. They want to micromanage every little aspect of what someone is doing, which makes no logical sense whatsoever. And you wonder why you guys are down the tubes. You wonder why people like me say, hey, yo, Democrats, if there's one thing you do not put another California Democrat up for national elections, period. Please. America, we don't want those problems. Please. Let's continue.
Yeah.
And the thing that bothers me about it, in addition to we didn't get high-speed rail, is they didn't change it, right? Okay, huge failure. Learn something. Make it so it won't happen again. The problem is the right, we've just been talking about this, the personality type of the right is autocratic now. And the personality type of the left is bureaucratic. And you can't...
See, Californians don't get it. But his point is mute to me. Because at the end of the day, you found it. This is the problem with California voters, right? From what I can observe, at least the one that vote Democrat, is that the Republican have the better outcomes. Hey, look, I have the better plan. You still want to elect them because you, in your mind, oh, he's an autocrat. What makes him an autocrat? So you rather have bureaucracy than autocracy, whatever that is, that gives you a better result personally. This is what I'm talking about. Y'all not pragmatic. And what incentive does Democrats have to change? You reward them for what they're doing. You reward them for this. Like, regardless of what you think, oh, they're the lesser or whatever, I don't give a damn about your excuses. You still reward this party with victory. And that's all they care about. Hey, I just want power. What I need to do to maintain my power. Oh, say sweet nothings to Democratic voters. Say I will change, but don't. Okay, I'll do that. And you still vote for them. You have not given them an actual punishment. You have not actually put them in timeout at all. You have not disciplined the party at all. And this is how they get ran rampant in your state, to the point where people have to physically leave, because they have no avenues to actually hold these people accountable, because people like you will keep making excuses. Oh, the Republicans are autocrats, so I have to stay with them. Yeah, okay. Keep rationalizing your bad decisions. That's how I see this. I see this as nothing more than rationalizing your bad decisions. Now it's a problem.
You can't govern if you are this obsessed with process. And you can see it in the outcomes. If you want to sideline dangerous populist right autocratic movements, you got to offer people the fruits of effective government. If the places you govern are not advertisements for your governance, you are going to lose.
Yeah. Hey, but the right saw this coming a long time ago. People have been predicting this. Eventually, you ain't gonna have the sway you think you do. You resting on your laurels. Your debating skills is apathy, like it's weak because you're not used to debating. Now, Democrats, leftists, progressives, they're in a position where they have to come to the middle now because they lost the popular vote. They lost the electoral college, and they're still making excuses for that. No incentive to change whatsoever. Because end of the day, their concerns was never really about the American people. They don't care about the people, honestly. Progressives don't care about the people. They care about their control, their influence amongst the people. They see us as a means to an end for power. That's all y'all care about. You want to talk about autocrat? No, there's more autocracy on the Democratic side. Look at Gavin Newsom. Ain't he related to Nancy Pelosi? You want to talk about autocrats? These Democrats in California, they run that state like a bunch of nobles from the Middle Ages, from the Dark Ages. But you want to talk about autocracy? Get out of here. Populism is for the people. The will of the people. The will of the people say, yo, this system ain't working for us. Oh, far right, autocratic. I don't care about your excuses, snooty liberal from California. Like, you're going to understand me, a guy from Florida. We look at over there, we're like, we don't want no business over there. We got your people over here in our side. They moving from your state to our city, our states, our city, inflating our prices, supply and demand. The biggest advertiser of U-Haul trucks, Gavin Newsom. But y'all still reelected him, though. I bet you asked the guy, hey, who you voted for? Did you vote for Larry Elder or Gavin Newsom? I bet you say Gavin Newsom because Larry Elder is the black face of white supremacy. This is the excuses that the Democrats give themselves to continue going down their lunacy. And this is why they get stuck in an echo chamber. Because this is how tribal a lot of these blue-dominated cities and states are. You don't go by effectiveness. You go by, D? Okay. The joke that I think Bill Maher said one time, you could put a D on a teacup and it will win in California. It's not the politicians that needs changing. It's the voters themselves. Change always comes from bottom up, not top down. But this is the misconception that Democrats have. They think top down causes changes. No, it don't. It's bottom up. And until the voters in California change their priorities, change their sentiments, the political system in California ain't going to change. You're going to continue losing people. But we'll see what they can do. You know, they're trying to break their echo chamber. They're trying to get back in touch with the mainstream American thought, but I don't know if it's too late for them. I think they're going to wait another decade before they actually figure things out. But, that's just my thoughts. Let me hear yours in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I really do appreciate you guys watching to the end of the video. Let me know your thoughts about Bill Maher, his discussions about Democrats losing political power, and now they're caring about people, cost of living. Like, come on. It's been a problem for decades. And now that you're seeing that it could lose the election for your party, now you care about the problems of people. And that's what I'm talking about. You always care about it until it's too late. But I digress. Enough ranting. Share this video if you feel so inclined. It really does help me out in the algorithm. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.